And we are live on the Gamification Revolution. Hello, everybody. So good to see you. I'm Gabe Zickerman. I'm your host, and I'm coming to you today from our first episode from Los Angeles, my new home. It's very exciting. It's a little bit gray, but always so beautiful here. Hard to argue with it. And I'm so happy to have you with me on this exciting journey to the other coast. I've, of course, traded in New York City's occasional loud sirens for Los Angeles' helicopter. So you probably will get a little bit of a feel of the LA background noise while we're chatting here from beautiful Los Angeles. I'm joined today on the Gamification Revolution by my guest, Sean Goodman, who heads logistics at Clearly in Vancouver. Hello, Sean.
Hi, Gabe. How are you?
So good. So good. And welcome back, all of our regulars. So nice to see you guys. If it's your first time joining us here on this webcast, you'll need to log in using one of your social media client platforms like Twitter or Facebook. I think you can even log in with LinkedIn. I'm not sure here on Spreecast. And once you do that, you can ask us questions. You can actually post your questions and we'll get to them over this chat. And if you are joining us kind of asynchronously, you're listening to this in recorded mode, podcast mode, or video podcast mode, thanks so much. Every other week, Thursdays at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific, you can join us here. So be sure to sign up and be notified for the next Spreecast. So Sean, tell us a little bit about the challenge that you faced at Clearly in the logistics department and how it is that you brought gamification into your world.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we had two main challenges which we were trying to overcome. One was we had a rewards program which really wasn't working the way we wanted it to work at. So how that worked is, we measure everyone's individual output each day, so we feel that's really important for our department. And how that worked is, you submit how many orders you packed in a day, how many orders you picked, and in that month you get like a scorecard number. So the idea we had for that was that in your training sessions with your coach, that each month you would see what you did the month before, and you would set targets and goals what you want to hit the next month. But we didn't feel that was really working the way we intended. For a start, you're entering your data every day, but you're not getting results back for a month later. So then, that's really not very effective. And the rewards program we had for that was the top 3 scores in that quarter would get a cash bonus. So what we found was over a year and a half, it was the same 2 or 3 people which were getting that top prize. So those few at the top, they were really motivated and pushed themselves for that program. But those in the middle or to the bottom, they didn't care, they weren't engaged with it at all. And they found the program a pretty negative experience because they saw it more as like a school report card rather than a training tool, which we really intended it to be. So we were really we challenged ourselves to create a platform and a better training tool than we currently had. And at the same time, we're also trying to address the engagement with our team. So we've seen, our team is pretty old in terms of how they've been with the company. We kind of anticipated people staying in the role for like a year, maybe 2 years, but we've seen people staying a lot longer than that, and we've seen naturally that their engagement with their role has kind of decreased over time. And so we really wanted to create something which would give them a better training platform and also increase engagement with their role. Because the job they do is pretty repetitive. You do the same thing pretty much every day. And it's, when I joined the company, that was the role that I first joined, and you're kind of like in a hamster wheel. You clear the work one day and it's back again the next day. So you didn't really feel that you were achieving anything, and you couldn't see your progress. You couldn't really see the work that you did. And so we really researched and tried to find something better that we could do.
So what did you end up doing?
So what we did is, within our training meetings, gamification was a concept which we had heard of for quite a while. And it's something that we've been becoming more popular, and we've seen a lot of articles and read a lot of studies about it. So we're really trying to find a way to incorporate gamification into our department. And the more we researched, we did. We read the Gamification Revolution book that you put out, and we kind of found that was a perfect match for our team. Everything we do is measured, and people really want to work on their individual KPIs. And so what we did is we kind of adopted a very similar approach like a video game. And so, you pick contacts, you pack glasses, you pack contacts, you have to be accurate and you have to be quick. So these are all skill categories, and we created badges for each of these different categories. And then your daily output gets converted into experience points. So, the quicker, the more effective, the more accurate you are, you get higher experience points. And those points turn into a virtual currency, which you can use to spend on different kinds of rewards and benefits. And so we felt this was a lot better approach, because you submit your data every day and then you get your results back straight away. You know what you've done in that time, in that moment. You can see your progress. It gives you a really good visualization of how you're progressing. You kind of level up throughout time, and you get like an overall level and an overall kind of experience point, so you can kind of compare and compete with your colleagues to see who's the highest level, who has the most experience points. And,
So how? So let me ask you a question. Are the KPIs that people are using, so are they individualized or are they general? Like, does everyone have to do different things every day?
It
How is
varies.
progress?
Throughout the course of like a week, everyone will typically do around the same. But yeah, daily it's the same three kind of tasks kind of happen. You pick contacts, you pack contacts, or you pack glasses. So pretty much everyone does that each day. So we do measure team KPIs. That's when I first joined the company. That's what we did. We never did individual metrics. It was just purely the team and how we were performing. But we wanted to get a better understanding of how everyone performs. So we introduced individual KPIs. So everyone what we found is that people are a bit more competitive. They want to be the best picker, they want to be the best packer. So we've kind of given them a way that they can display that they're the best person.
So does everybody see everybody else's progress in a completely transparent way? And if so, what's been, I know it sounds like it's been pretty positive. What's been the kind of cultural effect of that?
Yeah, so what we have when we're working on, we kind of have like a display board. So if someone levels up in a skill category, we kind of post that. Like myself, I leveled up in my picking category. We have daily huddles every day, and we kind of share who got the most points the day before. So we do kind of promote each other's results and scores with each other. And we've kind of the next step we're kind of creating guilds within our work group. So we've kind of split the team up, and they kind of compete against each other. At the moment, it's like who can get the least customer reported errors. So they compete against each other with that, and those are displayed daily. That's updated all the time. But how we want to evolve the project, we kind of prove that it works, and we've got buy-in from our executive team to really push this forward and really expand onto a more web-based program and give a lot more visibility to people's results, because at the moment people have their individualized scorecard, gamer card, which they log in and check every day. But how we want to evolve it is where these scores are displayed all the time on like a monitor throughout the company, so everyone can really get engaged and see how people are doing.
So there's been a lot of, I think, controversy about gamification of settings like the warehouse shop floor. I think, Amazon, of course, is the most popular or well understood case of this. And, even if we don't call what they're doing gamification, right, kind of pushing people to really constantly be faster and faster and better. And I wonder if you have any sense of what it is specifically, because you made reference to this idea of like the report card, but now it doesn't feel like a report card. Can you talk about a little bit of what you think specifically sets apart Clearly's effort and the thing that people think is positive versus feeling more like they're being monitored by Big Brother every second of every day?
I think before our old scorecard, people thought it was monitored, but what we really want to do is measure people's performance, and there's a big difference between measuring and monitoring someone. I think when we first challenged this project, engagement was a big part of that. We kind of discussed and debated what does engagement mean? How do you feel engaged with your role? And I think a really key topic is, you want to care about what you do. You have pride in the work you do, and you want to feel that your performance each day has value to the business and to the bigger picture. So how gamification and how Gamer Card has really done that is you can see every day what you achieve. You can see what your output was. And that can be related to like the revenue the company generates within that day and within that week. And how we visualized it and how we presented it to the team, they've really seen that they've really improved from last month to this month. And they've taken a lot of pride in the work they do. We really try and promote a culture where people feel that they can promote new ideas and they can really take part and really be involved with the decision making. And I think engagement is a really broad topic. And just introducing gamification on its own isn't really going to completely solve all your engagement issues, but it's given us a really good platform to get people involved. And a lot of our team was involved in the process of designing and creating the project as well. So they've really bought into the whole idea. They were really engaged with the project from the outset. We kind of consulted people. We kind of got their opinions and ideas.
Yeah, can you talk more specifically about that, because that's very interesting. So how did you come to them? What stage did you come to them in your process? Like right from the beginning, or did you already have kind of an idea of what you wanted to do, and what sorts of ways did they get to influence the outcome?
Yeah, so we kind of, it was myself and the trainer. We kind of thought of this idea and thought it'd be really cool. But we kind of felt like some of our skills we didn't possess to really, design and implement the program. So we knew on our team we have people who are really skilled in IT and design and process-driven people. So we kind of pulled them in at the start. We kind of presented the idea. We've heard from the feedback from the whole team that the old scorecard program really wasn't effective and they didn't like it. So we kind of asked for their opinion. We said, so what was something that you would like to see? We presented the idea of gamification and the idea we had how we could improve the process. So we got a few people involved. Jenica was one of our key people. She coded and designed the software and the program we used to present people's work. And we tested it with like 4 or 5 people within the team. And so when we got past the design stage, we wanted to implement it to the department. We took a group of people who we thought weren't necessarily gamers, who don't typically play video games or wouldn't be really familiar with gamification, and we used them as the testing program for their feedback, to see what they wanted and what they got out of it. And we've learned a lot across the process. When we first started it, we thought that combining everyone's team's results together would be something that would really drive them, but we found that people are really competitive and really care more about their individual KPIs and what they achieve. So we kind of set a lot of bonuses and targets and rewards about setting your own personal best record. If you set like a clearly record, you get bonuses and rewards. And we kind of set daily targets each day. The person who has the most points in a day, they get bonus and rewards as well. So these are all ideas that the team had when we were testing and developing the idea, which we took on board and really kind of tried to implement the best we can. I think that's really a key part of engagement, is listening to your team and that your team feel like they're part of the decision making and that they're part of the success of a program or the department, and they're going to feel a lot more engaged.
Did the team actually come up with any interesting ideas from a design standpoint, like from the actual game standpoint, that you ended up implementing?
So yeah, some of I guess they were a lot involved in terms of the rewards that they wanted, which they would want to push for.
What kinds of things are on the reward list?
So at the moment you can buy time off. You can choose your own schedule. You can choose your daily task schedule that you want to do. You can buy. There are cash rewards we have also. But you also, some other popular ones, your team leader can buy you lunch, it can take you out for dinner one day. So we have little things like that, but we found with our team and within our role that the time off and the extra cash incentive is something that is a good motivator for the role that they do, because it's something that we felt over time that has been a good motivator as like an extra incentive for them.
And how does the... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Because on the old program we had that cash reward also, but it was always because it was the same 2 or 3 people which were really good at that program that didn't engage the whole team. But this is a lot more effective for the whole team, and what we've seen so far, we have like 15 people on that team and only 1 person hasn't cashed out a reward so far. So on our old program it was 2, 3, maybe 4 people who would get the bonus over like 18-month period, but in just 4 months we've seen all but 1 person has been able to get a reward from this program. So they're definitely a lot more appreciative of this system.
That's awesome. What about, can you talk a little bit about these non-cash versus cash rewards? So the reaction in the chat right away, of course, our regulars, David, Beth, myself, we all reacted like those are so awesome. Extra paid time off, these non-cash rewards is very cool. Can you talk a little bit about how the team and how the people have responded to the options of non-cash versus cash rewards?
Yeah, so I think people, I think they are mostly motivated for the cash or the time off ones. I think that's something that they aim for. But we have found that the non-cash rewards is something that we want to explore a bit more and a bit more effectively than we have been. So one of the ideas that we have is that if you want to work in maybe another department, if you have a marketing kind of aspirations, then maybe if you earn enough experience points, if you get to a certain level as a shipper, then we can work with that department and you can spend that cash reward to have like an internship, or you can work in a different department. We're a company that always promotes from within, and we always look for our own people first. So if we know someone has a certain skill set and that's what they're working to do, they can use their coins and rewards to get access to another department and also learn other skills through that way as well. So that's our next kind of phase that we're working on and evolving, and we've kind of presented this idea and the results to the whole company, and everyone's been kind of blown away with the work we've done, really. So we've been meeting with other departments, seeing how we can implement it and help them. And that's an idea that we've brought up, and we're looking to explore how we would be able to do that.
Well, it's interesting because I was talking about non-cash rewards, and you put the paid time off in a cash reward kind of category. And I know that it
Yeah.
is I know that it costs you money, so it costs the company money just like giving somebody money, because basically you've got to backfill that job. But there's something interesting about the psychology of that, I think, versus giving somebody just straight money. Um, can you dig in for us a little bit about that paid time off? Because I know for many people, they might value paid time off more than they value actual cash. What have you
Yeah,
seen for those
yeah,
people?
I think you're right. I think if you look at the people that have cashed out so far, it's a high percentage of cashed out the days off rather than having the cash out on their paycheck. I think that's something that people really appreciate. We give them the option. So we say, for example, you can get $200 or you can have 2 days off. Like the majority of people take the 2 days off rather than the $200. I think that's something that they appreciate more. We have people have vacation days, but people, I'm from Europe, but I'm used to having like 5-6 weeks vacation. Back home here, you don't get as many vacation days. You kind of have to accrue them over a lot longer period of time. So people definitely appreciate that a lot more. I think they see it more as like maybe a personal touch as well. Just throwing cash at them. You say, okay, you've worked really hard to earn this. Go enjoy a day off. Go have a relaxing day in the sun.
Right. And I think it's kind of an arbitrage point, right? The time is more valuable than money, as Beth said in the chat, to people,
Yeah.
right? So they value that more highly, even if for the company it's the same. And this kind of leads into a question that was asked by TJIK in the chat, which is, have you changed the value of any of the rewards in the virtual economy? So since you've run the program, have you had to rebalance the economy either to make earnings easier or harder, or redemptions cheaper or more expensive to accommodate things you've learned about how people behave?
Yeah, so we run this on like a quarterly basis. So at the end of the quarter, you can cash out and you can buy rewards at any point in that quarter. But we paid out or we approve at the end of the quarter, and at that point, we do have like an inflation, I guess, at the end of that quarter. We kind of assess what level everyone's at, where their coin balance is, and we kind of set what we feel is a realistic target for people to push for and achieve it in that next quarter. So we definitely do reevaluate every quarter the progress people have done and the value of each metric and in each reward, and we kind of give what we think is a fair mark for people to walk towards for that next quarter.
So basically, the idea is that you're kind of constantly trying to improve overall performance for everybody. So the program needs to constantly the waterline needs to keep ticking up. Is that the basic premise of the design?
Yeah, I think we're a team that the industry that we work in, our customers demand the product as they ordered it today, they want it yesterday, they want it as quick as possible. And with our own department, we always challenge ourselves to work leaner and more efficiently. And what we found from working with this program, our individual KPIs that we measure, if we compare from Q4 of last year to Q1 of 2015, we saw a double-digit increase for each of our individual KPI metrics. And to put that into context, it took us 2 years for this program to achieve that same sort of growth. And so our team is always pushing themselves to do better and challenging them to improve the way that they work. And we've seen really great success, and the records kind of show how well it's been.
That is especially interesting. So if you break out the KPIs and let's just focus on one of the KPIs that you think is most interesting. Can you talk about how people feel about their own progress as it relates to the KPI? And I'll give you a little bit more color on this. I think one of the complicated things is sometimes there's a KPI that people maybe understand is related to the company's overall performance, but there's also the person's individual view of themselves in their job, trying to do the best job they can. And sometimes there's a sense that those things may be in conflict, like the company wants more from me than I can realistically give them, or the company has unrealistic expectations of what I should be doing. I'm not a robot, I'm a person. So which one of these KPIs, or if you want to talk about one of the KPIs and the kind of balancing effect, what have you learned about, and what's been the success of driving particular metrics?
Yeah, that's a good question, because when I first joined the company, we didn't measure anyone's individual KPIs. We had the team performance, and each day we would recognize what the team did and how the team performed, but we didn't know what one person was capable of. So when I joined the leadership team, and when my manager at that point, we're kind of very similar, that we're kind of very stats driven people, and we just didn't have the information available to us to build it and to grow the team. We would go through these really hyper growth periods. We would hire a load of people, then we've gone through times we would have to reduce our team, and we felt we weren't really making good decisions because we didn't have the information and the data available on an individual level to know what was fair to accept of someone. So we would have our own personal kind of ideas of, we can expect, this person to do 60, 70 orders an hour. That's what we're pushing out and demanding of them, but we had no real idea that was a fair or an accurate kind of requirement from them. So through our team timing, when we first introduced it, there was a lot of backlash from the team. They didn't like being monitored. They really saw it that we were monitoring their performance, that we didn't trust the work they were doing. It did take us a lot of work with the team to educate and to evolve to the point now where it's kind of really natural and it's just part of their role. And really how we did that, we lucky that we have a team that we really does care about the company and feels really positive about their own growth. And through all the data we collected and worked with, we was able to really identify what was fair for one person isn't maybe a fair expectation of another person. People naturally can pack or pick and move quicker than somebody else. But if someone does 10 orders less than another person, that doesn't mean they're not working as hard as that other person. It means they just have a different approach and a different way of working. And if we look at, so the glasses KPI is the one which we really measure and grow our team on. And we had an expectation that 50 orders per hour was the expectation from the team. So this was a couple of years ago. And through what we did from our team, we had in our coaching sessions, we would set people new targets, and they would try and they would get time for an hour, and they would pack as quickly as they can to see what their maximum ability really is. And from that, we was able to really train and work with them to get them to that level on a more consistent basis. And it's not always just a case of you have to pack or work faster. A lot of the case, it's just the processes that need to be improved and tweaked to make them able to work a bit quicker. And we really empower and work with our team to make them innovative and really change the way they work. So a lot of the implementation within the packing of our glasses team, a lot of changes have come from within the team. They want to get a higher score, they want to get like a better KPI number. So they've introduced new ways of working which can increase that productivity. So I think, really caring about what they do, and them having their voice to give their opinions out, and if they have an idea, we're going to support you. We think that's a good idea. We'll give you a resource to improve this turnaround in KPI, but you're going to own it. You're going to push it through. You're going to really make it a success. And we found that's really been a really key part to improving those KPIs. People really care about them. They can see their progress. They can see what they've done the next day, and they take a lot of pride out of doing that.
So interesting kind of question, and I think that sounds like really consistent with the ideas that often come up here, which is that many times when you do a gamification project for process improvement, part of what you actually have to do is kind of go back and re-engineer the process a little bit and make sure the process is efficient. So we're often like having to do that as part of the process of, gamifying something. Can you talk a little bit about the management side of this equation? So you're part of the management team. You came up through this particular organization, so you had a kind of specific insight. What's been the reaction now that you've had these successes with the program at Clearly? What's been the reaction of the management team, and what's it take to get to go from the kind of logistics floor to the other parts of the organization, and what other parts of the organization are interested?
Yeah, so we created this pretty much on our own. The rest of the company didn't know what we were working on. That's something that is very common throughout the company. Innovation is a really key core value we have at Clearly. So our team got involved, and we kind of had this idea which we presented to our manager, and he said, okay, run with the idea and prove that it works, prove that it has value. So we created the program initially. Jenica created it in Excel. She created all these macros and really designed it really incredibly within there to prove that the project really works. And after we've been running the program for like a quarter or so, what we did, we gave a presentation to our executive committee. It was only our COO Nancy. She knew the project was ongoing, but no one else within the company really knew what we were doing. So when we presented it to the executive committee, they were really blown away with the results and the impact that the teams had. Not just the improvement in the KPI, the engagement we feel has increased as well. And, everyone's the feedback from the team when we presented that to the other management, they were really impressed, and they were kind of really looking at how they can implement that into other parts of the company. I know in speaking to other managers that gamification is something they've heard of and they've looked at, but they've never kind of really taken that step to really implement it. But now they've seen our kind of results and the results that we've had. They're looking into our optical lab is kind of made for gamification. Every single part of the production, if you from picking the lenses and the frames as it goes through the whole production of being made to being packed, is scanned and measured, and every single person is measured within that. So it's kind of built perfectly for that department. Our vision care team, the vision ambassadors as well. Again, everything they do is measured, and it's really easy to implement. So those are the two teams we've really been meeting with a lot to help them implement the project. But I know that our IT team is something as well. They're really on board with it, and they're going to help us develop and expand this project for the rest of our department, also for the rest of the company as well.
That's amazing how quickly it can spread in a small organization that's very innovation oriented. What's been or what is the hardest thing about doing this? What's been the thing that's been most challenging for you in the process of going from this idea like, hey, let's use gamification to what sounds like a crazy, amazing success?
Well, I guess the hardest part really is first of all we had to just creating the program. That was I guess the biggest challenge, because we used our own people and we used our own skills. So Jenica was someone on our team who we identified as someone who has a really great IT background, something that she wants to work in. So we gave her like a period of her shift and her week to work on that project. But we did a lot of it on our own time and on outside of work, because we were really passionate about the idea. So I guess the biggest challenge initially was getting the program and designing and that part of it, getting it live. And the biggest problem we have now is we've created something that works, but it isn't scalable at all. We've created something which is really effective for our team, but it's not scalable for the rest of the other departments that want to implement it. So the next step, which the hardest part we're working on now is getting the time and the resources to implement this on a whole web level. So we have it's completely automated on our own internal web server.
Is it still like Excel macros and stuff right now?
At the moment it is, yeah. So we're currently in the process of developing the website for it.
Yeah.
But it's everyone kind of logged. Everyone has their own access, has their own game account.
How many people are using it?
So for my team, we have 15 people within our team that use it. But within our logistics department, we have 35 people within our team. and our first step is to incorporate the whole team within that. But like I say, we've kind of put ourselves in a bit of a hole where Jenica isn't a resource really for us anymore because she's got a promotion and she's in another part of the company. So we've created something which isn't very scalable at the moment, but we're working on it this quarter. That's our goal, is to have that a lot more automated.
I think that's actually amazing, Sean, and a really good lesson for everybody, because one of the conversations that comes up a lot, in this discussion is, what's the right level of technical investment? And I think it's pretty amazing that you did this. I think what I would say in an unqualified way, the right way, which is to focus on the design of the actual program and be able to test and implement that in the cheapest technical way before, spending a lot of resources to build out the software, to do it. So even though this is probably feels more painful to you because you're basically having to like re-engineer, the software again to make it scalable, it's actually the smarter way to do it. So you put the things in the right order, I think, which is run this in the cheapest possible design-oriented way, and then actually build the software to scale it up once you know that it works.
Yeah, I think when we were conceptualizing the project, we were researching. We saw there are companies and products out there which kind of help you introduce gamification into your company. They provide like leaderboards and badges and these kind of things. And we looked at that, but I think what we decided is, well, for me, what gamification really is, you're creating a narrative out of the data. We're trying to give meaning to our individual team members' role. We're trying to tell a story. They're trying to tell a story from what they do. I think what we found is really important to customize it for what your team is really looking for and looking to get out of it. So we learned a lot in designing it and creating it what we thought was really effective for our team. And I think that's it's worked really well. We're really trying to give like the narrative to the data. What we learned from the old project we have is, you're submitting data every day, but you're not getting any feedback for a month. And so there's no narrative towards that. People aren't really caring about those numbers because they don't see what's happening with it.
I love that, and it's been so great to have you here. I want to remind everybody, if you haven't already, you should sign up for the early access beta for Gamification by Design 2, which is the updated version of my book. It's now out. That's gamificationbydesign.com. And if you sign up for the early access beta, you can give me feedback, get your comments, write stuff, and you'll actually get author credit if your comments and feedback about the book are accepted into the final manuscript. So imagine being a co-author with me. Doesn't that sound like fun? It's almost as fun as having me cook you dinner, but not quite. Sean Goodman, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to find out more about Clearly, you can follow them on Twitter at ClearlyCA, which stands for Canada, not CA. Thank you so much, Sean. I hope you have a great rest of your day. It's an awesome program, and please do keep us in the loop about it. It sounds amazing with all the things that you've achieved. Thanks all of you for joining us here on the Gamification Revolution. We'll see you all in a couple of weeks. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.